and welcome. You have tuned into Buy Now, Sell Now on ET Now. I'm Shruti Sharma and with me is Cheryl D'Souza. And viewers, this is the show where you get answers for all your stock-related queries. In a short while from now, we will connect with our experts. And don't forget that today is Friday, so we do have that Friday feeling, but indeed a Pathshala day as well, Cheryl.
Absolutely. Friday feeling always so it creeps in, I think, towards on Friday only nowadays, given the fact that you can't predict the workflow and the news flow, isn't it?
Absolutely.
But yes, it's Friday, which means that we'll also have the Buy Now, Sell Now Pathshala, where you'll have Kunal actually explain or decode a technical analysis for all of you. But before that, let's take a look at the markets. And the markets are actually trying to make a comeback from the day's lowest point. At least that's what the picture is looking like for the benchmark indices. If you compare the way how the Indian markets have fallen vis-a-vis when you talk about the Asian peers, we've fallen much less compared to the rest of the Asia right now. But you only have a handful of gainers in trade today. When I talk about handful, we only have 7 counters that are in the positive territory. HDFC Bank is the top gainer right now, 1.4% uptick, followed by Apollo Hospital, Dr. Reddy's among the other set of gainers. You just had Divi's Laboratories that's actually now slipped into the negative territory. So 6 stocks gaining in trade, while on the flip side is the auto pack that's taking you really on the chin in today's trading session. So you have Maruti Suzuki, Tata Motors, Eicher Motors among the top 3 losers on the Nifty, followed by JSW Steel, Tata Steel, Hindalco also pretty much weak in trade today. So you have the advanced declination right now very much tilted in the favor of the losers. Talking about the sectoral indices, then no shade of green at all. It's only mildly coming in for the pharma sector, which is trading flat with a positive bias, but it is the autos, the metals, the IT, all of them seeing sharp cuts, with the broader markets trying to move in tandem with the benchmark indices. So not a great picture coming in this Friday, at least for the benchmarks. Hopefully, we will try to make some recovery, Shrishti.
All right, let's hope for that some recoveries creep in into the Indian markets. But with this, viewers, let's move on and let's go across to Kunal Bothra, who is joining us live to help us with today's learning. Hi, Kunal. Very good morning and thank you so much for your time. Take us through what are the learnings for today.
So now that you're seeing so many reds on the screen, the topic for today...
I'm wearing a shade of pink, so it's a little brighter, isn't it?
It looks like a shade of red. So now that we're seeing so much red on the screen as well as on the markets, the topic is also on the red side, that's bearish engulfing. So it's an interesting set of topic, because this generally indicates that how stocks form a top for themselves or get into a zone where there's resistance somehow creeping into stock prices and the stocks get into a reversal. So we look at a very simple prime example of what bearish engulfing is all about. This is how the bearish engulfing charts generally shape up, where a stock is going through an uptrend. You see the stock forming a lot of green candles. All of a sudden, there is this bearish candle which tries to engulf the entire previous positive candle for the stock. This acts as a zone where the stock suddenly faces a resistance, and this could be termed or indicated as a change of trend for the stock. Now, this may be a change of trend. This could lead into minor corrective phases. Depends on the nature of the stock price and how the stock is placed in the recent rally for the stock price. We will take a couple of examples over here. The first example is on Tata Consumers. Very recently, we'd seen the stock rallying up from 1,100 levels to almost 1,250. As you can see that this was a very clean kind of an uptrend for the stock. Many a times the stock was actually going through a phase of pause in between and then a sudden uptrend. But immediately post an uptrend, the stock or this rise got rejected, and you see the stock forming a bearish engulfing pattern. What this pattern did was the stock getting back into a mean reversion phase, coming back to a simple moving average, and that's where the stock found a bottom for itself. So this is a classical sign of how bearish engulfing patterns generally call a top of a trend, or at least a start of a corrective or a reversal phase for the stock price. We'll take one more example, and for stocks like IndusInd Bank in this case, there are multiple times when we see a certain pattern get repeated. So over here, as you can see, that the stock formed a bearish engulfing pattern twice over here. So first instance was at this zone where the stock, after a steep rally on the upside, formed a bearish engulfing pattern, and you saw the stock getting into a reversal. Second time, again at a very similar kind of a resistance zone, the stock formed another bearish engulfing pattern. This was after a point when the stock had seen a sharp rise, a bearish engulfing pattern was formed, and this led to the stock getting into corrective phases. So this is a classical sign of how bearish engulfing pattern shapes up, and that's what you can probably anticipate, a stock forming a top or a reversal over the short to medium term.
All right, then Thank you so much for that, Kunal, for teaching us something new this Pachala, that is bearish engulfing pattern. But on that note, viewers, we'll slip into a break. When we come back, we will start taking your query with our experts. And just a quick note for all of our viewers, because today we have decided to keep it as techie special on Buy Now, Sell Now. So we will have 2 technical guests taking your queries, all of your short-term to medium-term queries. So do write to us. Welcome back. You're watching Buy Now, Sell Now on ET Now, and today we have Techie Special on the show. So we will have 2 technical guests to answer all of your short to medium term queries, and they will give you their view based on the charts. So do write to us if you are looking for a target, a stop loss, or trying to understand what's the trend in a particular counter for the short to medium term. Today we have Chandan Taparia, who's joining us on the technicals, as well as we have Kunal Bothra as always on the show. And the viewers, the number is flashing on your screen to start writing to us. So let me take the query that we've gotten from a viewer. Wants to know, is Gaurav. He's writing to us from Bangalore. He wants to know whether it's good to enter Sequence Scientific or Morpin Labs, or even for the matter of fact, Camlin Fines at the current levels for the medium term. Chandan, I'll take it to you first.
Yeah, so first I'll comment on the Morphin Lab. The setup is quite positive for this counter. Technically, it has been making higher tops, higher bottom from last couple of days, and supports are gradually shifting higher. It formed the higher base at 58, 57 zone, and a small follow-up could lead to the next rally. Counter is trading at multiple months high, so momentum could continue. Even the rounding formation is clearly visible on the monthly chart. So we advise to buy and hold the position with support of 58 and expecting this stock to scale higher towards 68 to 70 zone. Talking about other names, Sequent Science and all, I think one can continue to hold the long position. Major trend is positive. He can continue to hold with support of 137. Overall, we are expecting 150 to 155 zone in the counter.
All right, then moving on to the next query. And Kunal, coming to you for this one. This one is from Sridhar from Coimbatore. Has bought 2 shares. Firstly is IEX. He's holding 400 in quantity at a price of 258 rupees. And the other one is Dalmia Bharat, where he's holding 70 shares. Buy price is 2358. What levels he should look out to book out some profits, or exit levels at minimum loss?
See, I think IEX is something which I would recommend a hold definitely, and I think I've been recommending this closer to 140, 145 mark, that the stock has found a major bottom for itself. Even at 190, 195, if you're looking to allocate more capital, I would still believe that the stock looks attractive at current levels because of the way it's positioned towards a multi-month and potentially a multi-year breakout as well. So I would suggest to buy or maybe add more if in case you're looking to add the stock at current levels. Now for Dalmia Bharat, on the other hand, I would suggest to wait out because the stock is going through a patch of correction. So it's not a major correction which the stock is going through in the last 2-3 months. It's just that this patch of consolidation could probably take some bit of more time over here. So I think buying the stock at a confirmation of a breakout would be a better strategy. That level would be closer to 2000 for Dalmia Bharat. So whenever the stock breaks past and closes above the 2000 levels, I think that's where you could probably look to buy because the momentum would come back again.
Alright, this one is coming from Karishma, who's writing to us from Delhi. She's saying that she's an ardent follower of our show, and she has a technical query on Bandhan Bank August futures at about 218. She's saying it's constantly falling. Chandan, she wants to know whether she should wait or move out of it.
Looking at the Bandhan Bank, however, the Bank Nifty has been moving in a broader range. Bandhan Bank major trend was negative, but recently it has bottomed out on the weekly chart with multiple base near 185, 190 zone. We witnessed a small profit booking decline, but again, declines are being bought. So my suggestion is try to exit. As of now, the major support for the counter is near 206. And with that support, it can bounce to us 220 zone. So advice is try to exit because the stock is not falling down. It witnessed some profit booking, but now multiple supports are providing some recovery to the counter.
Right, then moving on to the next query, and Kunal, Guru wants to have a technical view on 2 counters. Firstly is Sagar Cement, and the other one is Shipping Corporation of India Land and Assets. What's the view on both of these? Would you advise for a fresh buy any of these names?
See, Sagar Cement is again very similar to I think JK Cement, which we discussed, that the stock is consolidating. The only good part about the stock is it's consolidating near to its 200-day moving average. So that means that the stock may not take too much of time to get into any kind of a major time-wise correction. But I think the chance of a breakout on the upside could be pretty much on the higher side. So would suggest a hold on Sagar Cement, and if possible you're looking to add further, then I think 260, 258, 260 approximately could be a breakout point where you may look to add further for the stock. In case of SCI land and assets, I think that's a chart which is looking much better. The history is of course very limited, but the stock is trading above its key moving averages. 90 seems to be a good support for SCI land and assets. So I think that's a stock which I would continue to recommend as a hold. 90 could be a trailing stop loss or maybe a zone where you can look to buy also if you're looking to add further.
Alright, so that is the view coming in on SCI land and assets. It's a whole coming in from Kunal. Actually, Kunal, let me take this one to you because Vivek has written and addressed this query to you, and he's been writing to us consistently. We've not been able to take his query. He wants to know about ACE. His buy price is 700 rupees per share. He wants to know whether it makes sense to average right now Action Construction and Equipment. He wants to hold it for the next 1 to 2 years.
So I think 700 has also already become 1300, 1350 if I'm not wrong, the price for Action Construction. Now, whether you're looking to add further, I would probably believe depends on your further time frame, because what's actually happened is over the last 3-4 years, the stock has moved from 200 to 1600. Now, I would actually believe that there could be a point where the stock may get into at least a 6 months, 9 months kind of a consolidation. The first 3 months of consolidation has already happened, and there could be a possibility that the stock may consolidate for another 3 months or so. So rather than putting your capital at current levels and then waiting for the turnaround, I think it's best to try and delay your purchase. So maybe over the next 3 months, you could probably get better levels for buying the stock, say closer to 1200, 1250 zones could be better prices where you can look to buy or add further.
All right, the next query that I have, Chandan, is from Srinivasan, and his query is, can he buy NCC at current market price, but he's looking to invest for the long term here. And just to note that Srinivasan is a senior citizen.
Yeah, so I think Srinivasan, you can hold the positions. Major trend of the counter is positive, and we have noticed that most of the stock from this sector is doing well, whether we talk about NCC, NBCC, HUDCO, IREDA. So entire sector is doing well. He can continue to hold. Overall, we have seen a good run up in last 24-25 months. The release started from 50-55 over to 360 plus zone. So my suggestion is continue to hold because I'm expecting further up move. As of now, the major support is near 325. With this support, we are expecting a run up towards 385 to 400 zone in the counter.
Coming to you, Kunal, from Nathan. He's writing to us from Palakkad and he wants to know about ICICI Securities. What's the future of the stock? He's not mentioned whether he's bought the stock, but in case he bought the stock, how is the chart looking? And if he wants to buy, how is the chart looking?
Well, on both cases, I think it looks attractive. If you are holding on to the stock, that's a good strategy. If you're looking to buy, I think even at current levels, the stocks looks attractive. 760, 765 is where it's trading right now. The recent support being at 700 mark. And it's not a very high beta stock. So that's the advantage which you have. And you must have stocks, which are low beta, moderate beta kind of zones, because when markets suddenly gets into those phase of volatility, these are the kind of stocks which would probably try and give you more shielding power in terms of trying to shield from the volatility. So I think in that aspect also it looks attractive. There is a major resistance for the stock at 850 levels, but looking at the subtle nature of the chart, the uptrend the stock has built up, I would believe that the stock, say in the next 6 months, 1 year, should probably break past about the all-time highs of 850 plus and move up higher. So would suggest a hold as well as an add also if in case you don't have it in your portfolio.
All right, Chandan, the next query is coming from Poonam from Punjab, and she's holding 200 shares of IDFC Limited, and her buy price is 122 rupees, and she also has Equita Small Bank 90 from the levels of 98 rupees. What to do in both of these?
So the major trend is negative in Equitas Bank. It has been making lower top, lower bottom on the weekly chart. Recently, it has corrected from 107 to 81 zone in last almost 7-8 weeks, and trading at the multiple months low level. So structure is weak. However, it's very tough to say now to exit from the positions. So advice is try to use any bounce. As of now, the multiple support for the counter is near 77. If any bounce comes near 85 to 88, try to exit. That is the advice for Equitas Bank. And I think other counter, that is also the negative. Structure is lower top, lower bottom. So my advice is try to exit in both the counter. The structure is weak. When the Nifty is heading towards the 25 marks, 25K marks, both the counter are not doing well. So my suggestion is try to exit in IDFC Limited as well. Multiple support is near 108. If it goes below 108, 107, then it can correct by 10-20% on the lower side. So suggestion is try to exit and move to the other name which are comparatively holding well in the market.
To you from Prashant, he wants to know about Geo Financial, 348 rupees per share. Actually, he's asking me to ask this to you, Chandan, just when I was asking the query. So, Chandan, you take the query. Geo Financials, 348 is the buy price, 3,000 shares. He wants to know whether he should add more.
Yeah, so really this counter has done well in last couple of quarters, but from last one quarter we have seen some profit booking decline and supports are gradually shifting lower. In last 14 weeks, it has corrected from 395 to 325 zone, and buying interest is missing, and slowly the stock is drifting lower. So my advice is if you are holding, then you can hold because major trend of the counter is positive. But if you're looking for short term, then I think you avoid. Let it hold beyond 340 zone. Above 340, you can look for buying interest towards 370 kind of level. So if you're holding, then wait. If you want to add more, then go above 340. In that scenario, you'll see the next leg of rally in the counter.
All right. The next query that I have, Kunal, is coming from Venkatapati from Chennai, and he's holding Foseco India. He's bought 300 shares, and what he has written is his buy price is just 250 rupees. What I'm seeing is that the stock is over 5,000 rupees now. So what to do in this one? He actually wants a short-term view in this particular stock.
Wow, congratulations. I think the stock is already at 5,000 plus. It's hit that 5,000 mark twice in the last 1 week or so. So I think it's a phenomenal return for you. The only catch with the stock, of course, on the charts is that it's a lot more illiquid. There are the average trading volumes on an odd day is just about some 2,000 to 5,000 shares. So I'm sure you must have positioned your quantity also accordingly. On the short-term basis, the stock looks to be a slight into a resistance zone. So even after today's volume, this is the second attempt for the stock for Foseco to try and break past about 5,100 levels. But I would believe that the stock may face a bit of resistance over here. So if you're asking for an extreme short-term play, I would believe that the stock may face some resistance over here. Could probably try and come back towards 4,700, 4,750 mark.
All right, so congratulations for our viewers on that particular holding. But this one is coming from PV Rao, who wants to know if Chennai Petro is a buy at current levels. What's your take, Kunal, on this one?
Well, not suggest a buy at current levels. If you're looking at a better price point, then I think closer to 825 to 850 could be a better price point. So after this recent sell-off which had happened for Chennai Petro, a single day correction where from 1200 the stock had fallen down to 1025 or 1030 odd levels. I think after that the stock has been going through a bit of a pressure for itself. So I think that second round of correction could probably happen, and you may see the stock falling by say another 100, 150 odd points. So closer to 850 levels is where I think could be a better price to buy the stock.
Kunal, once again coming to you because this one is specifically for you, coming from Vijay, holding 1,000 shares of Canara Bank. Buy price is 113 rupees. Is the stock good to hold, or can he move out of this one and enter into stocks like Tata Motors, IRFC or Suzlon?
I think you have to look at it this way, that the PSU banking stocks are going through their last 3-4 weeks of correction, slight underperformance. But then prior to that, the names like Canara Bank, Bank of Baroda, etc., they were fantastic up movers. So it depends on your time frame. If you're looking at this, say over the next 6 months, 1 year plus kind of a time frame, then it's definitely a hold for stocks like Canara Bank, because wherever we see these stocks completing the mean reversion, they would be amongst the first high beta pockets which can make a very strong comeback to break past about the previous high. So it depends on your time frame. I'm assuming that it's 1 year plus in terms of a time frame. If that's the case, I would suggest to even look to add further in case the stock dips towards 105 mark.
All right, this next one is coming in from VG, writing to us from Kerala. Wants to know about Graphite India. Chandan, 3,000 shares at a price of 548 rupees per share. Presently is suffering a huge loss in Graphite India. What should be done? Should she go ahead and substitute it with another counter? What's your take coming on Graphite India? Because Graphite India, HEG, similar case, they are very high beta stocks, isn't it?
Yes, so if you look at the graphite, as of now, the short-term trend is negative. It has been making lower top, lower bottom and trading below 50-day exponential moving average. We have noticed a profit booking decline from 700 to 500 zone. So my suggestion is try to exit because the structure is slightly turning lower. In last couple of days, we have seen a bounce to 550 zone, but that also being sold. And if it holds below 500 zone, then further decline could be seen towards 450, 465 zone. So my suggestion is try to exit However, if someone is looking for very long term, then yes, can hold. But in short term, I'm not expecting any major relief in the counter. So advice is try to exit from the position. Looking at the HEG, this is the similar sector, but comparatively, the supports are visible in the counter. Earlier in the month of Feb, it was finding hurdle at 2000 zone, and now that started to work as a support. So I believe with the support of 2000, some recovery could be there towards 2400 zone. So 2000 to 2400 is the range to play in HEG. So HEG is likely to be in positive to range bound, but graphite looks weak as of now.
All right, Kunal, the next query is from Kavita, and she has bought Cochin Shipyard. Buy price is 2,842 rupees. Can she hold for some more time or book the loss at current market price?
See, now that you've held on to the stock for the last few weeks and you've endured the correction of 10%, keep another stop loss of 2350 for Cochin Shipyard. In case of the stock breaks below those levels, I would suggest an exit.
All right, on that note, we'll slip into a break on this edition of Buy Now Sell Now. When we come back, we'll continue taking all of your technical queries. Don't go anywhere, viewers.
Welcome back. You're still tuned into Buy Now Sell Now, and let's keep it going with all your stock related queries. And the next query that I have is coming from Pradeep from Kolkata. And Chandan, let me take it from you. He's holding 200 shares of Suntech Realty, bought at a price of 492 rupees. What to do in this one? He wants a long-term view on this particular stock.
So I think he's holding from long time and stock has really done well. However, it has been consolidating from last couple of days, but major trend is intact. Just a few days back, it made a high near 700 zone and now just witnessing consolidating move near 600 zone. So I think for long term, he can continue to hold 525, 530 is the major support for an upside move towards 700 to 850 zone.
All right, this next one is coming from Lakshmanan, who is a senior citizen, who's the age 75 years old, Kunal. He's writing to us from Bangalore and he wants to know about HDFC Bank. He's saying he's still not increased. It's his long-term investment and the yield is not even 12%. Is it still a keep or partially divert? Any decent valuations that you can see for this one or any other counter in the railway space, especially IRCTC or power stocks or auto stocks, basically anything but banks?
No, I think you should hold on to HDFC Bank, and since you're a long-term investor, this is a fantastic time to try and add to the stock. Great prices or low prices and good news, they never come together. So yes, HDFC Bank is going through a lot of negative news flow for itself, but the prices are also come back towards a major mean point. So I think at current levels, I believe that it's a very good buy for someone who's a long-term investor, because whenever the banking cycle turns around and you see the banking stocks getting into a major recovery mode, HDFC Bank should not be left far behind.
All right, the next query I have, Kunal, is specifically for you from Prathamesh from Mumbai, and he's holding 200 shares of GIC-RE. Buy price is 328 rupees. Should he hold this or book profits right now? But he can continue holding this one for the next 6 months.
See, I think if 6 months is a time frame, then I would suggest to book profit into the stock. I don't see a major upside unless the stock breaks past about the 440 mark. So over the last 6 odd months, the stock is trying to redefine a resistance range for itself. 450, 455 was the previous major swing high on closing basis for the stock. 440 is the recent swing high for the stock. And since you bought at 340 odd levels, I believe you are already sitting on a good profit. So at least a 70-75% book profits at current levels is something which I would advise, and keep the balance at 440 levels. I think that seems to be now a major resistance point for the stock.
All right, Chandan, coming to you then. This next query is coming in from Balan and he wants to know whether he should sell and book profits in Maruti and Asian Paints at current price. He's saying Asian Paints, since there is competition that is increasing, is it a sell on Asian Paints and Maruti Suzuki, and instead look to buy Cummins India for a period of 1 year? As you can see on the bottom of your screen as well, Cummins India under pressure, down 7%. The parent company has gone ahead and slashed the guidance for the Indian operations.
So first, talking about Asian Paint, the stock has been consolidating in a broader range from last couple of quarters. If I look at the yearly chart, it has been moving in between 2500 to 3500 zone. But the good part is that every small or meaningful decline is being bought. And recently, after a long consolidating move of 27 weeks, it has given a breakout above 3000 zone. So let it witness some more recovery. As of now, I believe that 3000 is the support for a extended up move towards 3250 to 3300 levels. So I think he can hold for some more time in Asian Paint. Talking about Maruti, Again, here the positive to range bound move. Just couple of days back, it gave the breakout about 13,000 zone, which earlier used to act as a major hurdle. For long term, you can hold, but for short term, if you want, you can shift towards M&M and TVS Motor. I think TVS Motor can do well if you want to replace Maruti. With support of 2450, TVS Motor can extend the move towards 2800 zone. Apart from that, I think he asked about Cummins. We have seen a profit booking decline. Technically, now it is turning towards a negative pattern. That is similar to a bearish head and shoulder pattern. So I think one should wait. Major support is near 3350 to 3400 zone. If that level is broken, then some more profit booking could be declined, could be seen. So as of now, I'll avoid to go long on Cummins. However, major trend is positive, but short-term trend is turning to the negative pattern. So he can continue to hold with Asian Paint. Maruti can be replaced with TVS Motor. Cummins, I think, may see more corrective moves. So wait and watch in that.
The next query, Kunal, is coming in from Yuvraj, and he wants your view on Alembic Pharma as well as ICICI Pru. Any of the stock that you like for a positional trade out here where Yuvraj can go ahead and buy afresh?
Both of them are attractive. ICICI Pru, of course, going in with the anticipation that the sector would continue to move up higher. We've seen many of the insurance names looking quite charged up in the last 1 to 2 months, and I think that this could probably be an indication of a major multi-quarter, multi-year uptrend also potentially for this sector. So would suggest a buy on ICICI Pru, and if possible, you can look to add maybe SBI Life. That's also another top candidate in terms of the leader from the insurance pack. Alembic Pharma also, on the other hand, the stock has confirmed a breakout. The previous month was one of the better performing months for Alembic Pharma, where the stock, I think, moved almost 20-25% from 800, 850 mark, if I'm not wrong, towards 1100 to 1200 kind of a zone. So I think in that anticipation, the stock still looks attractive. Maybe buy on dips or keeping some powder dry could be a better strategy for Alembic Pharma.
All right, once again coming to you, Kunal. This one has come from Mali, who's writing to us from Hyderabad. Vare Renewables is the counter that the viewer is holding at around 900 shares at a price of 1,650 rupees per share. Wants to know whether to exit the stock and instead look to buy ICICI Bank and Axis Bank right now?
So if you ask me relatively, then I would suggest yes, that I think ICICI Bank or Axis Bank could be better bets at current levels. In fact, even HDFC Bank, as I just enumerated some time back, these could be better bets relatively. But then I think it also matters as part of a portfolio construct. So if you are managing a portfolio which is wide variety of 20-25 stocks, then I would probably believe that even Vari Renewables could be something which you can continue to hold on for itself. So it depends on the portfolio construct. If you don't have any kind of a banking name, then making that switch, or at least a partial switch at current levels, could be something which I would recommend.
All right. Just the next query that's coming in from Ramamurthy, and he's saying that he wants to request anchors to ban wearing red dresses on the show. But Ramamurthy, that has nothing to do with the markets. We just keep joking. But nevertheless, let's take your query on the show. Chandan, let me take it from you. He wants to know, is this a good time to buy Titan or Petronet LNG for the next 2-year period?
Let's look at the Titan first. Titan has recently bottomed out with multiple support near 3125 zone, but has been finding supply near 3500 to 3550 zone. If looking for long term, then I think one can continue to hold or can aid. I believe that rising gold prices, apart from consumption theme in India, could drive the positive stance in the counter. So he can buy the counter. And I believe a small follow beyond 3500 could take it towards 3750 to 3800 zone and positionally towards 4000. Talking about Petronet, we are quite positive in the name. Major trend is positive. It has been consolidating from last 4-5 days. Major support for the stock goes near 348 till it holds 348. It can extend the rally towards 400, 420 zone.
This next one is coming from Siddharth. He's writing to us from Bangalore. He's a huge fan of yours, Kunal. That's what he's written. He's writing to us for the third time. I've not been able to take his queries earlier. And he's saying that, Kunal, you've given some brilliant long-term calls like Vector Foods, AB Capital, as well as L&T Finance. And he's thanking you for all of those. Now he wants to know 2 to 3 good calls for the medium to long term that he can look to invest right now.
Time for being more greedy, but so I think at current levels I would recommend. I would recommend a diverse set of name over here. Something which is popping up on the radar is an emerging a stock which was recently listed in the last 2.5 odd years. That's Nykaa. That's a chart which I think closer to 190, 195 looks very attractive. To me on the time frames and the kind of study which we've done into the stock price. So I think we would probably expect the stock to come back to levels of even 275 to 300 plus in the next say 1 to 2 years, and potentially even beyond those zones. From a very short term play, if you're looking at say 3 months, 6 months time frame, then Shriram Finance is something which is coming back into a breakout mode. That's a chart which is looking attractive. Now I think closer to 2950 or 2980 where the stock was trading the last I had seen. So I would probably believe 3200, 3250 could be a decent target for Shriram Finance. And if you're looking at a slight high beta pocket, then I would recommend Bandhan Bank also at current levels, because my sense is that the stock is showing signs of a classical turnaround at those 200 levels. So you may have to be a bit more patient. The stock could be very volatile, but if you're okay with holding on to the stock for the next 6 months plus, I think the upside could be substantial.
The next query, Chandan, is coming from Poonam from Delhi, and Poonam is writing to us for the first time. Wants a view on Bank of Baroda holding 40 shares. Buy price is 297 rupees. It's falling a bit. What to do in this one?
So Poonam, the PSU stocks are not doing well. We are near to the multiple week low. The stock is trading near its 25 weeks low. Recently, it has been making lower top, lower bottom. In the week, we witnessed a bounce to 260, but that was also sold, and now we are quoting near 245. So structure is slightly weak, but we have multiple support near 237 zone. So if you are already holding, then follow the support near 237. If that is broken, then obviously you need to exit. Otherwise, again, you can witness a bounce towards 260. So structure is weak, but we will closely watch the support near 236 zone in the counter.
Kunal, quickly coming to you. This one is from Ravi. He wants to know about Bandhan Bank, 5,000 shares at 202 and 2,000 shares of JK Tires at a price of 410 rupees per share. Can he average either of them or look to book profits? What's the strategy for 3 months?
So hold on Bandhan Bank as well as JK Tires. I would recommend, if you are sitting in profits, then I would probably recommend to even book profits for JK Tires. But Bandhan Bank is definitely a hold for the next 3 to 6 months.
All right, then that's the query on both of these stocks. But with this, it's once again time to slip into a very short break. Viewers, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. You're watching Buy Now, Sell Now, ET Now. Let's continue taking all of his stock-related queries. This one is coming from Hemant. He's writing to us from Hyderabad. And Kunal, he wants to know about Banco products. He's entered at 500 rupees per share. And Markson Pharma, he's entered at the levels of 100 rupees per share. What sort of a target do you have for the medium term? Does it make sense for him to actually hold on to Banco products?
See, hold on to both of the stocks. I think both of them are doing pretty well. They are going through a subtle uptrend. There are pauses in between for the uptrend, even for Marksans Pharma as well as for Banco products, which is now at 740 plus mark. So I think both of the charts are looking quite okay. The indicators are not stretched by, on the monthly or the quarterly charts. I think that's also another comforting sign, which means that potentially this uptrend may continue. Of course, there would be intermittent pauses as well as a zone where the stocks consolidate, but I think that should not deter a longer-term investor like you.
All right, one more long-term investor, Kunal, is V. Mathur, because he's been holding Eicher Motors for the past 10 years, Maruti Suzuki for the past 7 years, and M&M for the past 6 years. And indeed, these counters have given him good returns. But is it good to hold on to these, or maybe he can go ahead and book out some profits and make a fresh buys in Tata Motors, Ashok Leyland, or Hero MotoCorp?
I think it's a fantastic set which you have. Now, very difficult to try and suggest that after making so much of exceptional returns in a span of the last 6 years or so on these auto stocks, whether you can shift on to other names. I would actually suggest that if you are looking to book some profits, then maybe take 20% of profit booking into these names. But then if you're looking to redeploy into some stocks, Ashok Leyland is something which comes back into the radar. The stock breaking past about 230, 225. Those previous resistances looks very strong and could probably be a case where the stock may cover up a huge underperformance over the years and come back quite strongly. Tata Motors is something which I've been recommending over the last few years. Maybe a buy and dips strategy could be a better strategy for Tata Motors, but as of now, Ashok Leyland is something which you can look to invest into from a long-term play.
All right, Chandan, coming to you. This one is coming from Manjunathan S. He wants to know about Rain Industries. He has 250 shares of Rain Industries, which he's purchased at levels of 160 rupees per share. He wants to know whether is this a stock that should be a part of his portfolio for the longer term?
I think it has been consolidating in between. It had been between 150 to 180 zone from last almost 17-18 weeks. It has got stuck in a range while hovering near his 50-day exponential moving average. So major trend is positive to range bound, and the good part is the decline is being bought, but momentum and breakout is missing. So I think one can hold with support near 162, and this time a small follow-up can lead it towards 180 and 200 zone.
All right. The next query that I have, Kunal, is coming from Vibha, writing to us for first time from Ranchi, holding 100 shares of Ambuja Cement. Buy price is 429 rupees. What to do in this one? Any stop losses that you would like to suggest, and the strategy as well?
So, if you're, I'm assuming you're a long-term investor, because since you bought at 450 odd levels, the stock is already at 650 plus mark. Recent high for the stock was around 700 levels. So longer term wise, the stock looks attractive. The only concern which is emerging on the charts for Ambuja Cement is on the daily time frame. The stock has broken below its 50-day moving average. The indicators are going into a slight negative territory, which means that potentially the stock may get into at least a 1 to 2 week kind of a downtrend. So if you're a long-term investor, then definitely a hold. But if you're looking to trade this on a short-term basis and you're looking for a stop loss, then I would probably believe a lower level stop loss closer to 625 could be a better stop loss for Ambuja Cement if you want to continue to hold on to that.
All right, with that, we have to kickstart with the rapid fire. Just a quick note for both of our experts that need to keep your answers very brief and short in the rapid fire so we can take as many queries as possible. Kunal, the first one is for you from Sanjeev. He has 500 shares of Indian Hotels at a price of 585 and EIH at 250 rupees per share. What sort of a target to keep for both of them?
At least a 10% further upside from current levels for both of these stocks.
All right, the next query is from Bharadwaj, and Chandan, what's your view on KNR Constructions? He's holding 1600 shares at an average price of 278 rupees. Can he go ahead and add more at current market price?
Yeah, he can hold with support of 375. I'm expecting a target towards 420 and 450.
Kunal, Suprajit Engineering is the stock. Subramaniam from Chennai has bought at a price of 340 rupees per share. What's the short to medium term outlook?
Short term, the stock seems to be at a very good support point. I would suggest to add further if you.
All right, Chandan, your view on Servotech Power Systems. GM Raja is holding 300 shares. Buy price is 94 rupees. Good to hold for the short or long term?
I think can hold short term. I can't say about the momentum, but yes, the pattern looks quite interesting. As of now, it has completed pole and flake pattern, so one can buy with support of 115, looking for 145, 150 zone.
All right, Kunal, Zomato, 2000 shares at a price of 69. Srikanth has been holding it and wants to hold it for the long term. What's the upside that you see for Zomato now?
Yeah, now difficult to say an upside, but I think you can just trail your stop losses to 225 and continue to hold on.
All right, Kunal, what's your view on Electra Green Tech? Ram is holding 1250 shares. Buy price 1350. Hold or sell?
Very bullish on the stock. I would suggest a hold.
Okay, Manish Bhatt has Tejas Networks 2500 shares purchased at about 375 rupees per share. What's your take, Chandan? What should he do with Tejas Networks now?
So Tejas, he can hold. However, it witnessed some profit booking decline, but I believe near 1150 it might find some support. So with support near 1150, he can look for rebound towards 1250 zone.
All right, Kunal, what's your view on L&T Finance, where Narveer from Hyderabad holding shares from a price of 186 rupees. Can this stock cross 200 mark in the next 3 months?
Not in the next 3 months, but yeah, I'm very bullish on the stock over the next 9 months to 12 months.
All right, and with that, we actually come to the end of the rapid fire as well as the queries segment. Thank you so much, Kunal, as well as Chandan, for being a part of this special edition of Buy Now Sell Now. And thank you, Kunal, for the Buy Now Sell Now part. And with that, viewers, we are totally out of time on this week's edition of Buy Now Sell Now as well. So it's a goodbye from Shrishti, myself, our producer Shreyansi, as well as Anjali and Shawnee, and our director Santosh. Thank you so much for watching. See you next week.